Guys, urgent video. We finally had the death cross on BTC. So I'm going to give you an update on my trades, what I'm doing now, where I think the price is going to go. So let's get into it. So we had the death cross yesterday. I did talk about this before, right? I talked about the death cross and what happened last cycle. So the last time we had the death cross, we were just chilling for a few days before we crashed. And a lot of people were saying, you know, death cross is bullish, death cross is bullish. Well, why would you be looking at the death cross at the start of a bull run or in the middle of a bull run? It's always been bullish, right? Who is selling their Bitcoin after a 12-month bear market when historically it's about to skyrocket when they see a death cross, right? No one. You might get some short-term traders, but no one is selling there. So, you know, the start of a bull run, you might as well chuck death cross out of the window. It's not even a tool that I would really look at for confluence. At the end of the market, okay, Q4 post-halving, absolutely, I'm happy to look at the death cross because we've been here before. What happened after the death cross and what happened last cycle is we came down 25%, roughly around 3 to 5 days after. Well, look, let's actually work it out. So the death cross happened here. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before we really fell off the map, but those 3 or 4 days did trickle down. And that brought, so if we come down 25%, that would bring us to roughly around 70,000. And, you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that we actually have that 70K support here, right? That 71, 72K support. So this would be quite a drop. I don't think most people are ready for this. That's why I actually do like this trade because the majority of the market are not expecting this. I keep seeing people say, I think we've bottomed, buy the dip, the bottom's in, this time's different, extended cycle. You know, some accounts are saying now 2026, business cycle. The usual stuff that we see at the end of the market, right, at the end of Q4. Humans have a lot of hope. We have a lot of hope, and we like to believe, you know, we'll even look at history and be like, wow, okay, I know it looks the exact same as last cycle, but I just feel like it's different this time. You know, it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing, and you'll see it happen time and time again. So far, so good, guys. I think we made this video around January or February. I can't remember exactly when, but just have a listen to this because we've literally hit all of our targets. This would be my dream play. We come back, we retest 72K, maybe 74 to 72K region. We bounce off this. Everyone's bearish down here. Everyone gets scared. We bounce off this and we push for an all-time high. This would be my short of the fucking century when we touch this second line because we would literally be seeing history repeat. Are we going to see the second monthly candle reject? I mean, look, we've got so much data here. This is where I'd put an insanely big short on, which would potentially be around 120, depending on when we tap this, 120, 125K. On pretty low leverage, and I'd be quite comfortable adding to that position as well, and play for the real bear market short, right? The real bear market short from top to bottom would be phenomenal. And you know, imagine the short on altcoins there as well, because when BTC tops, altcoins tend to top as well. Okay, so I'd be looking at shorts on altcoins on BTC here, and I think a lot of people would eventually be looking at this pattern. When we make enough noise about it, more and more people won't be able to deny that we're actually seeing an exact repeat. This would. So as you can see, guys, it played out beautifully. We ended up coming down to the support that I said here. So we came down to this support. We bounced off this white line. We pushed for an all-time high. I said around 120 to 125K. We actually topped around 126. So I was 1K out from that, but I'll take it, not too bad. We technically wicked above. You see previously, the reason I gave those targets is because last time we came up to this, we kind of wicked down, but this time they really did try to push it through that resistance that we were looking for at top of the market, and but the monthlies closed below, right? So congratulations if you've been following the channel, guys. We've been on the right side of these trades for so long. Yes, we're taking swing trades in between, like we longed here, right? But we're always taking swing trades in between. This is a very long time, right? This move to the upside was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So as long as you're on the right side of the trend, you should be doing all right. It doesn't mean that you can't take long positions and short positions in this range, right? Because you're going to have pullbacks, you're going to have retests. The SMC bot is going to help us with trade setups. But yeah, zooming out, sometimes it is a lot easier just to buy support and wait and wait and wait, which I might do with our shorts, right? The shorts we have on at the moment. I have taken some profits off the table already, but I might leave these open for quite a while as we come down and just see if this death cross plays out again, as last cycle it came down 25%. So I do want to see over the next week or so whether we do get that repeat of history and we do come down 25% back to around 70k, 72k. So BTC, $30,000 in profit now. Render is quite recent, 54%. Stark was a new one I put on recently. I don't know if I'll close this one. I might even close this one. ETH, 74%, pretty good. So around $12,000, $13,000 now. World Libby Finance, 31%. XRP, 104%. Over 12,000 on that. And then we've got SUI, 324%. So doing really well on the shorts, guys. This is my Blowfin account. So if you want to trade on Blowfin, there's no KYC. If you want to trade there, here is my referral link. Press that so you can get a referral bonus. And you can also see my trades, and you can copy trade me on there as well. And also Nansen, use code SMC if you want to use Nansen to track the smart money on chain, which is one of the things we do and have done a lot this cycle, which has helped us nail some of these trades that we've been taking. So where are we going now? We've got the death cross. So far, so good. We, in my opinion, are in a confirmed bear market. We have the sell signal from the SMC bot. We've got the double top. And we've broken through the 50-week moving average. We now have the death cross. Like, to me, it just looks like we're repeating last cycle almost to the T. So I'm quite interested, until proven otherwise, in trading this as I would last cycle. So there's two more trades that I'm planning to take coming up over the next few months. It's all of course, going to depend on what the smart money are doing, what the insiders are doing, the cabal. We're tracking all their wallets. We're watching when they sell. We saw they were selling massive amounts of Solana at $250, $300. What happened? It just happened so far to be the top, right? So I move with the data, and so far the data is leaning towards more downside, but that can change at any moment. Okay, so at the moment it seems we're in a confirmed downtrend. BTC is looking weak. It looks like we're repeating history. So those are the trades I'm going to look for. So we've nailed these trades. We've made a lot of money. I'm currently around, with my other trades on the other exchanges, I think I'm around $120,000 in profits, and now I'm planning to take a couple more trades. But obviously, it's going to reflect the data. Now, normally, we're going to tank here, okay? So normally, we are going to tank here pretty fast. We might trickle between 95k and 100k. If we're lucky, 105k. But I think we are going to come down here over the next few weeks. And then there's a couple more trades that I'm prepared to take. And that is going to be a long, so a dead cat bounce, into a relief rally, and then into a short at specific levels that I'm looking at. Now, obviously, I'm going to post those levels in my Discord, guys, because we don't want to get front run. We don't want to be tracked or stop hunted. We have a lot of traders. We're now like second in the world on Patreon finance now. So we've got a lot of traders, a lot of whales in our community, and if we're all putting on trades at the same levels, it does create a target for us to get stop hunted, right? So yeah, those trades will be in my group. If you want to see those, head over to my group. The guys have been absolutely printing on these shorts. Big up Chalky at 551% on that Sui short. Absolutely killing it. I think he's holding it. I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, look, he said take profit 0.3. I love it. No risk, no story. Of course, what I'm doing with a lot of my trades is just setting my stop loss to entry so that I can't lose. If it does go against me and I am wrong and it does go to the upside, well, most of them I've taken profits off the table already, right? You can see my Sui trade. I've already taken $13,000 in profit, so I can't lose regardless. I've already won. I like to put myself in a position where I've already won, because obviously markets are crazy and markets can be manipulated, and I would hate to see the market pump and I was wrong. If the market goes to all-time high, I'll hold my hands up and say, look, I was wrong. And but at least I would have banked a lot of the profits from those shorts and not made a loss. And then that gives me capital to look for new trades. If I am wrong, I've still got all this capital to go and look for another short, right? So yeah, the guys have been absolutely printing in the Discord. If you want to jump involved with us, big up Ivory, up 5k in a day with the shorts. 27% on ZEC, 52% WorldLB Finance, 37% SUI, 122% ETH. 224% XRP. A lot of the same things we've been shorting, right? I'm trying to short things that haven't dumped crazy amounts. I'm trying to short things that the insiders have been selling. So the Cabal, I'm tracking a lot of the smart money wallets and watching them move their tokens to exchanges in real time, right? So kind of trying to find weakness and on-chain information. Big up Ivory, absolutely killing it. Big up Drax, 297% on that BTC short. So we got in around 110, and the prices that was at 97, so it came down even further than then. GG's, bro. It seems a lot of you got in with me at the 110k short on BTC. So yeah, GG's guys. Big up Steven here, also printing 85% XRP. Really, really nice. Yeah, if you want to join us, guys, you want to see my trades, if you want to see my next trade setups, especially if BTC tanks here, I am going to be looking for a dead cat bounce. Now, I'm not looking for a long into a bull run or another all-time high. I'm just looking for a long into a dead cat bounce, and then potentially add into some short positions or opening new short positions when I think that dead cat bounce is about to reverse. So head over to my X, search this on X, the bottom one, not the top one. Click the link if you want to get involved with us. You can see all my trades in there. It's a monthly fee, guys. Never join groups that are yearly fees. They're yearly for a reason. You go into a yearly group, and if you don't like it, you've just spent 12 months. You've just paid 12 months in fees for something that you don't like, right? Ours is a monthly group. You can leave at any time. So many members have been in this group for 3 years, and if you're not finding value from the group, I wouldn't want you to be there and be miserable in the community and chat anyway, right? If we're all chatting and you're not interested in what we're up to, the trades we're taking, why would you want to be there anyway, right? So it's a monthly fee. You can leave at any time. If it's not for you, you can leave after your first month. Just cancel your membership and you will be out. So what else do we need to talk about here? So we've talked about the Death Cross. We've talked about the setup. Let's talk about, I don't know if we should talk about bear market targets just yet. I don't know if we should talk about them just yet. You guys have seen some of the tools I use. They're absolutely phenomenal for timing the bottom. I mean, we've done very well to call the top, but where did we call the top? Basically on T8, right? We said it got to this point here, and I was like, wow, imagine we were just repeated last cycle. Like, it was the easiest trade, really, right? It was the easiest trade because as soon as we realized that we had that first touch, all you had to do is clone the move, and then history repeated, right? Almost to the T. So yeah, it was basically off TA. You don't really get this lucky a lot of the time. If you nailed this TA top last cycle, congratulations. The third time, a lot easier because you start to see these patterns, being consistent. I was surprised that it happened exactly the same as last cycle, especially with the double yellow candles. But yeah, it did happen, and maybe it happens again, right? Maybe it happens a fourth time because it's so consistent now. These things can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and this resistance line might be the top next cycle. Now, a lot of people are going to be watching this, especially those coming into the market into next cycle. So a lot of people are going to be watching it, and sometimes if everyone's watching it, it doesn't happen. Sometimes it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it's definitely going to be an area that I'm interested in taking profits next cycle. I think that's going to disappoint a lot of people because you're not going to be at the targets that I think many people are expecting. We're definitely seeing diminishing returns here. But yeah, that's a video for another time, right? That's a long way away. But I like to think in the future, if I'm setting up and I'm trying to make plans, I do like to think, 12 months, 2 years down the line, because, I'm trying to turn 1 million into 10 million, and I need to be on top of that strategy, right? I don't want to be guessing and I want to be on the ball with the technical analysis. So seems like we're repeating. It seems like we are just repeating last cycle. Everything's playing out. Seems like, well, we got the weekly close, so I'm going to put my neck on the line and say we're in a confirmed bear market. Absolutely beautiful as we're shorting. That's what we want to see. Now, let's see if we do come down in the next. I'm going to give it 1 week to 2 weeks just to see if we chop here for a bit. Because last cycle we done this and then we tanked. Look at this yellow line I drew for the end of the bull market as well. We done this for a little bit and then we tanked to the downside. So let's see if that plays out. More often than not, you are going to get a dead cat bounce. I'm seeing a lot of KOLs talking about the bottoms in here, or they're looking at 90k. Some people I've seen 84k, 86k. So, you know, our target is very, very low, right? 72k. I'm gonna say 76 to 72k. Our target is very, very low. Obviously, we're going to be looking at the on-chain data, and if I see a bunch of smart money accounts or institutions all of a sudden starting to flood in or flip into long positions, then, you know, I'm going to move with the data. But if we do come down here, I think we're going to liquidate a lot of people, a lot of longs, and I think that's going to liquidate so many people. And then we come back up for the dead cat bounce. So couple of trades there. I mean, I'm 120k in. So, you know, if I do get this trade, this long trade right, I could make $1 million. So I don't want to mess this up, right? I could make 10x, easily 10x on these two trades, even on low leverage. Getting that. So I need to get this dead cat bounce right. And I need to get that relief rally into bear market right. I could turn this 100k into $1 million, maybe even more if I use high leverage, but I don't want to get too greedy with it. You know, pigs get slaughtered. The market's not going anywhere. There's going to be loads of trades. I mean, we're kind of blessed that we have been on the right side of this trade, right? That we've been short in the market. We longed the market all the way up here, and then we've been looking for shorts on the way down, and we sold a lot of our altcoins, and we've been fortunate that we're on the right side, because if you're on the wrong side of this, if you're longing all the way down here, you know, so you've seen how many billions are getting liquidated. It's not a nice place to be. And even people were shorting down here when we were longing, right, and they got liquidated. So you don't really want to be on the wrong side of the trend. As long as you're on the right side of the trend, it doesn't really matter if you have these little pumps and dumps here and there, right? BTC could push up to 100k here. It doesn't really matter if you hit a few stop losses, as long as you're not on the wrong side of the trend, because then you're going to keep shorting and shorting into the wrong side of the trend. That's how you can really start to depreciate your account. So, you know, since Trump won the election, we've been on the right side of that trade all the way up, right? This is where I made my 250k long, and I was saying TP 100k. And then we went short here, we longed here, we shorted here. So we've been very fortunate, guys. We've had some luck as well, right? To nail 1, 2, 3, 4 pivot points and call the top of the market needs some luck, especially in a manipulated market. The market cap of of gold went up 10 trillion. So if the institutions really wanted to, if BlackRock really wanted to, Fidelity really wanted to, these guys manage 15 trillion AUM. If they really wanted to, they could push the price higher. So you are going to need it to move slightly organically for this to play out. So there was some luck, but of course we've done a lot of TA. We looked on the smart money, what the insiders were doing, which also helped. I could see obviously they were selling their Solana in the hundreds of millions. There was one account selling hundreds of millions of Solana at all-time high, and that's when I decided to sell my second bag of Solana. So we're lucky to have been on the right side of the trade. We also have USDT dominance breaking out, right? We've been watching this for some time. This is the technical target for the breakout, and we're going to have to wait and see if this weekly candle closes above. But having seen a lot of these breakouts, it does look like it is going to continue to move up here. It looks like a solid breakout. We got a daily close above resistance. We have the buy signal on USDT from the SMC bot. It does look like a confirmed breakout. I'll be very surprised if we reject it and come down here. The other bit of confluence is this actually lines up with a lot of our targets to push down to 70k, 72k, right? It kind of lines up. And then we have the def cross as well. So we've got a lot of different data coming in. Kalshi also came out and posted saying there's now a 77% chance that Bitcoin drops below 90k. Now, if you've seen these prediction markets, they're very, very accurate. Lately, they've been insanely accurate. And to say 77%, you could almost lean that there's a high certainty that the price is going to drop below 90k. And again, a lot of people watching this kind of data can become a self-fulfilling prophecy. So it looks like we're going to drop below 90k. I did post recently saying on the 4th of November, I think we're going to lose the 90k support in a few weeks. If we lose the 90k, then my theory that we're going to come down to sort of the 76 to 70k range becomes more consistent. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's see what happens. The Kabisi letter posted, since the 19.2 billion crypto liquidation on October 10th, gold and Bitcoin have moved in completely different directions. Do you remember that? I posted saying they played too many games with this liquidation event. The people were taking their lives. I was listening to Spaces. Grown men were crying on Spaces. I heard someone say that their Pepe long got liquidated for $3 or $4 million. And the longs they had were on cross, right? And I went into a lot of their accounts, and you can see in the middle of the night when they're asleep, Hyperliquid was going added liquidity, liquidated. So it was sucking their accounts dry, and then it liquidated a lot of traders, and a lot of capital was lost. And I did say at the time, no one is going to go and chuck their side money in when the market's moving like this. No one is just going to start flooding in, giving giving the space more free money, giving the exchanges more free money, right? What kind of trust do you have now taking long positions or buying when you know that you could wake up and be 80% down, right? Sui, some of these candles, they wicked down 80%. So if someone had $1 million in, I don't know, Sui or Render or whatever, then at one point in the middle of the night, it was 200k. And I said on the video, I'm going to find that video, I'm going to post it, because I said, if I woke up and I realized that I just lost 800k in the middle of the night, but all of a sudden the market brought it back up, I'm out. I'm immediately out. As soon as I wake up, I'm selling everything, right? Because I'm 800k up. That's the way I would look at it, right? I've just made 800k because last night I was down 800k, and I would have been depressed, and I would have been saying, what an idiot. I shouldn't have had that much money on a long, or I shouldn't have had that much money in spot, especially so close to the end of the market. I'm selling everything, and I think we are seeing that in the space. I think it's kind of accelerated this downtrend that was coming anyway, right? It's Q4. Eric Trump said Q4 is going to be incredible. We all knew that this was coming, but I just think it's really accelerated it, and it's a shame, man. A conspiracy I came up with my group recently is, what if so many people are watching that bull run trend line this cycle, right? And I said, when we break this bull run trend line, I said, what happens is whales and OGs look at the data. Okay, we're in a confirmed bear market. I'm going to take some profits. And I'm talking about people who got in at 3K, 2K, 5K, 10K. They've made a lot of money, guys. People who got this at 10K are still up 10X basically today, 9X. They're up huge amounts of money. It's actually very smart for them to sell here. It's very smart of them to take profits at a 10x. It's a huge amount of money to make. Some of them have put $1 million into Bitcoin, waited a few years, and they now have $10 million. So historically, Bitcoin comes down 75%, 80%. So you could argue that they would be absolutely an idiot to not take profits here, even at 94k, right? So what happens is a lot of people just say, oh, I'm going to sell when we break the bull run trend line, and it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and then the death cross hits, and you start to see these really aggressive sells, as we saw last cycle, right? The price came down 25% shortly after we had the death cross. So that's on the cards. I think we're going to see a lot of OGs were selling, a lot of institutions selling. We've already started to see Arthur Hayes has started dumping his altcoins. So Arthur Hayes has been selling ETH, ENA, Lido, Aave, Uni, ETHFI. So yeah, a lot of the insiders, a lot of the cabal have started to sell their altcoins. And I think this will continue for some months. I think this will continue. Retail tend to trade on hope. So retail traders, they sell down here. They usually sell and capitulate close to the bottom. Personally, even some of my own friends last cycle sold their crypto down here, and crypto obviously went crazy. I had a friend who had a lot of Bitcoin, and I think he had his Bitcoin at I think it was worth 15k or 16k. He held it and held it and held it, and he held it down so long that he sort of got into disbelief down here and then sold it all. And he would have made a colossal amount of money because he had a lot of Bitcoin. And retail tend to sell very, very close to the bottom. It's just psychology. You're looking at psychology on a chart. This is all it is, guys. It's just literally psychology. This is why we get these double tops. This is why we get these M patterns. It's beautiful to trade. It's really beautiful to trade. If you're able to detach your emotions from the markets, if you're able to take a loss. I lost a 15k trade the other day and I just laughed, right? I've become so detached from the markets. I laughed at myself for even betting that trade was going to pay off. And I just laughed. I think I went and made dinner and just forgot about it 3 minutes later, right? You will get there over time if you're getting emotional, if you're getting angry when you lose a trade, even if you're getting euphoric. Like, you can see me saying, yeah, we're about 120k up. This is a lot of money to me, but I don't let it make me euphoric. I don't let it get me overexcited. You can see I'm taking profits. Like last cycle, I would have held this a lot longer, hoping for more, trying to be greedy, but pigs get slaughtered, right? Pigs get slaughtered. So if this turns into 300k, 400k, I'm not going to jump around. I'm not going to get ecstatic because then my following trades are going to be bad, right? It's about controlling your emotions. And if you are feeling euphoria when you're winning, you should not be trading. And if you are feeling depressed or sad or angry when you're losing, you should not be trading because you are going to go and lose more trades. You're going to make more losses. It's taken me a while. I definitely was emotional in my first cycle. There's not as emotional as other people, but I lost a big trade and I kicked myself for weeks and weeks and weeks. And you have to go through that phase and kind of level up. That's something you can't just learn. There's a lot of things in this space that you can't just learn. And I've been in here every day. I've been addicted. I've been every day learning, addicted to studying the space. And even I'm learning things now, right? I still watch 4 or 5 hours a day. I still spend watching podcasts, especially people who have been in the space for 10, 15 years. A lot of TradFi guys. I'm really interested in how the TradFi guys think because they're looking at things very macro based. So I'm also learning myself every day, and I think in 5 years, if I continue to learn every day, I'm going to be a much better trader than I am now, right? So yeah, you'll never stop learning, and literally the more you learn, the more you earn. This is another reason. This is a great time, right? Because I've seen a lot of people on my comments saying, smooth brain, you're buying it, you're selling it, you're shorting in extreme fear, good luck. And Quinton has actually posted here. Quinton actually has quite a large account, 218k followers. Extreme fear always ends in extreme regret. That's very surprising because I think Quinton's been trading for quite a while. That's very surprising to see that. And it's not just Quinton. I've seen quite a few accounts say, we're in extreme fear, this is the time to buy, right? But what I don't know if maybe they know this, maybe they don't. But if we look at the extreme fear and extreme greed, what happens when you go into a bear market is notice how we were going into fear around 58k. Okay, so 58k, 60k. The top was 68k, right? The top was 68k. So what happens when you go into a bear market is you go into fear and extreme fear very, very fast, and you stay in fear. Look how all the way down we pretty much stayed in fear and extreme fear. In fact, we were in extreme fear a lot of the time, all the way down into the bottom of the bear market. So if you took a long position in fear at 58k, or let's say you went in extreme fear at 53k, the price of Bitcoin was soon 16k. Okay, so you could have bought multiple Bitcoin at 16k, but instead you bought the dip at 53. And you weren't even in profits until way later in the game, right? You basically just cleared a 2x if you bought the spot in that first fear or extreme fear, right? You basically made a 2x, and that's if you sold the top, right? How many accounts were calling for a top at 125k? Not many, guys. You've probably seen the 150k. Larry Fink from BlackRock even said the price, it could go to 400, 500k. Chartered, is it called Chartered Bank? I think it's called Chartered Bank. I think they were calling for 200k, 250k. Raoul Paul, a lot of these, Anthony, I can't pronounce his last name. You probably know who he is. A lot of these accounts were predicting wild targets, and not many people were looking at 125k. So even if you bought the dip at 50k, you probably didn't sell the top. You're probably going to sell and hold when you break the bull run trend line at 95k. So you went 50k to 95k. You didn't even make a 2x over 4 years. So this is a classic case of the more you learn, the more you earn. This is something that I learned last cycle, but it's just from studying, guys. It's just from studying. There's so many little tricks like this that I've learned, and you probably saw some of my posts in this cycle saying extreme fear. I said no need to panic. I think we took profits here, right? And I said no need to panic. I'm just gonna start longing again when we come down to trend line and we hit extreme fear. And here was extreme fear, right? We longed the Trump stuff here, extreme fear. We took profits here, extreme greed. We took profits, extreme greed. In the middle range, phenomenal, and I'm going to use it next cycle as well. It's one of the most underrated indicators for the middle range of the cycle. I think on average we stayed in extreme fear for around 10 days. So it was phenomenal, especially when we came back to trend line and we were looking for longs. Here, it's a really great tool. It's useless at the start of a bull run and at the end of a bull run. So out the window here, I'll look at it. I'll see what it's saying. I won't really use it. I won't put much weight towards it until the middle ranges, when we're coming back to trends and when we're looking for bounces. So be very careful, guys. There's a lot of people saying extreme fear, time to buy the dip, altcoin season's coming. I think there's a lot of people who maybe, I don't know if they're familiar with how this played out over the last few cycles. So fear and extreme fear, this makes it very hard for us to buy the bottom, right? This is why I don't use this tool for buying the bottom. There is tools that I will use. There's many tools that are phenomenal at buying the bottom, but when you go into a bear market, you're going to go fear, neutral, extreme fear, and it's not so good. It's great mid game, really good mid game. So yeah, don't forget that we could be in fear, extreme fear, all the way down. Even if we come down to 40k, 30k, we could be in fear and extreme fear all the way down, and that's where retail get wrecked, right? Because they go into belief mode and hope mode, and everyone on socials is saying it's just a dip, and you can be rich if you just buy and hodl. I mean, this is a game of swing trading, right? The difference in equity, the difference in returns. If you buy in the bear market and you buy halfway, like let's say there's some people buying the dip right now. I've seen on socials, right? People are saying buy 94k. You need the price to go to 200k just to basically hit a 2x if you buy at 94k. That's insane. You need the price. And if you buy at 50k, right, and it goes to 200k, it's a 4x. It's very different. It's a huge difference in returns. Turning 1 million to 2 million or 1 million to 4 million is a huge difference, especially on a low risk play like Bitcoin. So for me, we have enough data, we have enough history now. This is like many cycles in. We have enough history here and enough data, on-chain data, to for me personally to try and snag up the bottom. And it doesn't go anywhere. It's not like it V-shapes recovery. It's not like it does a V-shaped recovery. This is what I got in a little bit early last cycle, because I was worried that we were going to see something like this. Not so aggressive, but I didn't know how long we were going to hang down for. It always chills, guys. It always chills. And we're going to get a buy signal from the SMC bot, right? So we're not going to be able to go into a bull run technically without the SMC giving us a buy signal as we come into a bear market. The buy signal I'm hoping to get in before, because it does come a little bit late. I mean, it came in at 23k. And you're not going to be too annoyed if you got at 23k because it went to 125k, right? So the bear market buy comes in late, but I kind of like that because if I'm still waiting to buy, I should have bought the bottom. I think I am going to be very close to buying the bottom. My goal is to try and get within 5 to 10k of buying the bottom. If I don't, I get the buy signal from the SMC bot that says, "Hey, idiot, you're getting too greedy here. The market's about to run away from you," and then I'm in anyway, right? If I see this buy signal from the bot, I'm just gonna get in, regardless of what the other indicators are saying, because it's been so phenomenal for signaling that the market's shifting and the market's about to turn towards the upside. So yeah, a really cool backup indicator. I guess if I do buy the bottom and I am long, let's say I get in a really big long position, pretty low leverage, and I buy up spot, then I get the buy signal. That's also going to be beautiful, right? Because that's going to give me conviction. Let's say I'm in 100k long on 10x leverage, right? Something really low, so that I'd have to get, the price would have to come down to 20k or 10k for me to get liquidated. That's kind of where I want to put myself when taking longs in the bear market. Let's say I do take that long and I get this buy signal, bang. I can put another degen long on, or I can add to my existing long, or I can just chill and congratulate myself for buying the bottom, right? And just chill with the long position all the way up. Just hold that long all the way up, back up to our first resistance, which is going to be this yellow trend line here. So really nice targets. This yellow trend line, I think it's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. I think we hit this regardless, which gives us a very, very nice area for a TP1, for a take profit 1 target. And if we nail this bear market bottom, let me tell you, that's a lot of money from the bottom to the top. So I'm really excited for next cycle. I hope quantum doesn't accelerate. That's one thing I'm worried about, quantum computing and the developments there. I hope it doesn't accelerate too fast. I hope we get another decent cycle without threats of quantum or major developments. I hope they upgrade BTC to become quantum resistant. I hope they don't mess around with that and just drag it out. I hope they take steps towards trying to sort that out as soon as possible. And if they can, right? If they can't, they need to hard fork, which would create 2 Bitcoins, which is a whole other trade. We've talked about that previously, but that could be also another nice opportunity if they have to create a second Bitcoin. Yeah. So guys, if you want to join us, if you want to jump in and get involved, if you want to see the trades, we've got a lot of stuff in here. I do market and macro announcements, so what's going on in the market, inflation, jobs data, my overall strategy in the game. We also obviously are trading stocks. You can see all my stocks that I'm buying and selling. We recently sold some quantum computing stock. Well, sold some of our quantum computing, which turned out to be a good decision because the market ended up tanking. You can see my leverage trades. We do giveaways every now and then. This is the VIP section. We track a lot of some of the best traders in the space, a lot of the inside information. This is the on-chain alpha section, so you can actually go and see what the smart money are doing in real time. So we've connected the blockchain to my Discord, and you can see when they're selling to USDC, when they're buying stable coins. Smart money received pump, so I would go into pump and see why they are buying pump. Do they think there's going to be a bounce here, or was it a token unlock? Did we just see a token unlock and they're about to dump pump? Then that gives me information and alpha that I could potentially use to trade, right? If I see an insider just got $2 or $5 million of pump on an unlock, then I can track their wallet, watch when they send it to Binance, and then take a short position when they start to sell that on Binance, right? So we can trade in real time based on those insiders, which is just phenomenal if you think about it. It's not something that's ever been available in the stock market. It's not until you see, it's not until later that you get to see, what the insiders were up to. But in crypto, we can obviously see it in real time, so it's phenomenal data. We've also got retail there, DEX flows, top balance changes, KOLs, etc. I've also hired a professional leverage trader. So He's a really, really good trader. He's won every single month overall since January. So he's had a really good run, and he takes very different trades to me, which I like, because sometimes I'll take his trades, sometimes I'll use them as an entry. I'm more of a hold positions open longer and sort of DCA out, but he's more of a TP1, TP2, TP3. So sometimes I'll take his trades. Like if he says to long Bitcoin at 90K, I'll take the trade and I'll just sit in it and take profit on the way up. But, you know, they're two different strategies. I like it, how we're very different traders, but both of us have done quite well in our returns. So, guys, and then obviously you can jump in, ask me questions. You can chat to me in the Discord. I'm always in there every day. We're always chatting, looking for new trades and new setups, new stocks. Yeah. Guys, none of the information in this video is financial advice. Do your own research. Investing in crypto is highly risky. You can lose all of your money investing in anything. So always do your own research first. Don't forget to like and subscribe on the YouTube channel so you don't miss out on any of my updates. And I can keep you updated on what I'm doing with my trades. It's always going to be first in the Discord, right? Especially if we're looking at key levels to long. I don't want everyone front running us. If we're looking to long specific levels, I don't want anyone front running us or stop loss hunting us. So it's always going to be in the Discord first. You are going to see the stuff later. But I like to think that these videos are educational as well, right? I'm trying to pass on my knowledge, specifically some of the things like this, the fear and greed and how it reacted, and pass some of my knowledge on to you guys so that next cycle, let's say you did get liquidated on some of these trades. Let's say you went long, because we've been in fear for a while now. So let's say you went long because we went into fear and you got liquidated. Now you know why, right? Because we're coming to the end of the cycle. And also at the start of the cycle, you might sell. It happens on the reverse, which is brutal. You go into greed very early at the start of a bull run and people take profits, and then the market really rallies. This is where Gareth Soloway started shorting when we went into greed. And Bitcoin was only like 30K, 40K. Sorry, it was lower than that. Bitcoin was like 23K when we went into greed. So cheap. And Gareth Soloway was shorting like crazy. He was shorting Solana. He was shorting Solana so low. He was shorting Solana at like $20, $30. And to think it went 10x from where he was shorting. So it can be very dangerous at the start, just like with the death crosses, right? You go into greed at 23K, you get a death cross. Look at this. This was probably a death cross where you had a very small pullback, and the market wants to shake you out when you're early, right? A lot of institutions who missed out, a lot of whales who got too bearish, they're like, man, I was too bearish at 16K. It looks like the bull run's about to start. They tried to get people out. So it's a completely different game at the end, right? At the end, Brian Armstrong will be saying, we're long Bitcoin, just so happens to post it before the market nukes, right? Larry Fink was talking a lot. Jamie Dimon was talking a lot. Another thing you'll notice, I can give you a bit of information or a bit of experience, is when you see them talking a lot, that's when they're worried. That's when they're scared. When you see them come out of the woodwork, like when has Brian Armstrong come out and said we're long Bitcoin? Like that's when they're really, really starting to worry about the market and they're trying to get more inflows in. Larry Fink and Jamie Dimon were sitting at the round table saying, this is going to be the future of finance. And it may well be. But still, when they come out and they start to get vocal, it's another red flag. And obviously, we're in Q4 where the market has always ended here anyway, right? So these sort of things you'll pick up. And again, time in the market it changes you as a trader, and you'll make better decisions. Are you going to make all of the right decisions? Absolutely not. And some of the best things that ever happened to me were my big losses. Losing lots of money in my first cycle was a great thing. It was one of the best things that happened to me. Losing a big trade, I still took profits on the way down. Right, I took some profits out. I made decent money, but I lost a lot. I lost a lot more than I could have saved, and that's why this cycle I dollar cost averaged out. And I said, I'm going to take profit at all-time high. I'm going to take profit at 100K BTC, and then hopefully we can try and find the top of the market. Unfortunately, altcoins have really underperformed, and I could do a video on why that is. But do you see why dollar cost averaging out was the better play? as opposed to trying to wait for Q4. Imagine we had waited for Q4, it would have been so depressing. Like, we bought 2022 in the bear market, we started to dollar cost average out. But notice how I dollar cost averaged out so early. Like, I started to sell in March 24 last year. It's going to be getting onto a year. Sorry, longer than that. It's almost going to be 2 years. That's crazy to even think about. In March, in a few months, it's going to be 2 years since we started selling. But it just happened to be around the all-time high for a lot of altcoins. And I'm going to do the same next cycle. I'm going to sell early. I'm not going to wait for Q4 where we all hold hands and magically sell together and get rich, right? You've probably seen the posts on socials from some of the biggest accounts in the space. We kind of need them, really. We kind of need them to shield. So I don't want to FUD them too much. But yeah, Q4 is going to be incredible. We're all going to get rich. That's not how it works, right? It's often not how it works. Q4 wasn't so bad last cycle. But when everyone is expecting it and everyone's like, yeah, Q4 is when altcoins go crazy. Yeah, I'm dollar cost averaging out. I mean, I'm going to do the same next cycle. You can say I'm going to sell early, whatever. But, look what happened selling early last cycle. So many altcoins are down 90%, 95%. And there's nowhere near I would have made the money I made. And then what did I do with some of these gains? I actually put some of this and went and longed Bitcoin, right, when Trump won the election. So, if I made 10, 20K off this, I ended up putting 20, 30K on a long on Trump winning, which turned into $250,000. So maybe I wouldn't have even had that money to long on Trump winning if I hadn't have taken profits here. So you see how every little decision really can impact you. If I turn this 100K into $1 million, so if I turn this 100K I've made into $1 million short in this market, what am I going to do in the bear market? I'm going to try and 10x it, right? So even though it's 100K now, by the end of next cycle it could be 10 million if I make a few calls right. And it really is just a few calls, because I'm looking to long this dead cat bounce and I'm looking to short into a bottom. That's 2 trades. I just need to get those 2 trades right. Bang, I've got my bag extra. This is all extra capital, right? I've already got my stable coins to buy the bear market, but I'm just trying to make extra cash by shorting so that I can buy the dip in the bear market with even more money. And then if I turn this to $1 million, bang, I've got an extra $1 million that I've got from leverage trading that I can put into the market and try and 10x it to 10 million with my existing $1 million that I can try and 10 million. That puts me on 20 million. So everything really matters. Every 1K massively matters. When I was working an extra side job to try and last cycle, when I was working side jobs here and there just to try and get some extra money to invest, I was mentally saying to myself, this side job sucks, I'm so tired. But I was saying, it's an extra grand a month, and if I can 10x this, it's 10K a month, and if I can 20x that, that's 20K a month. So I visually put that in my head when I was tired, when I was run down, when I was grinding, investing. I literally told myself, bang, that's January out the way, bang, you've just made 10, 20 grand. Congratulations. Bang, February out the way, that's another 10, 20 grand. You're almost on the way to a deposit to a house, right? That's how I was putting it in my head, and that helped me get through and just invest it. And in the end, loads of things we did get into done 20x's, right? Some things done 30, 40, 50x's. So nothing's guaranteed in this game, but if you're not in the game, what other options do you have in this world we're in right now? So yeah, that's it for now, guys. Look, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with the latest. Until then, I'll catch you in the next one.